What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Green Zone for the NFL Week 9 College Football Week 10 edition. As always, I'm your host, Sean Redden. Not going to waste much of your time. We're just going to jump right into the games. First up is going to be the Falcons at the Patriots, with the Patriots a 5.5 point favorite and the over under at 46.5. The Patriots offense is firing on all cylinders. They will be without Ramondre Stevenson in this game, but they haven't really been able to run the ball all year anyway, so that doesn't really bother me. In fact, it may lead to more explosive offense because now Vrabel may be forced to play Travion Henderson, who, in my opinion, is the most explosive rookie running back in this year's draft class. Gonna get him consistent looks, hopefully. And he's also a solid receiver out of the backfield, way better than Stevenson would be as a pass catcher. So it could add a better element to this Patriots offense if Vrabel chooses to go that route. Drake May also in the passing attack has turned into an MVP candidate. And a lot of people have talked about how easy their schedule has been. But I mean, look, last week they played the Browns. I know the Browns are a bad football team, but their defense is very good. The Patriots in that game averaged 6.5 yards per play and had a 49% success rate. This Falcons defense was supposed to be solid coming into the season, and they did start off pretty well. But injuries have kind of caught up with them, and I don't think they're going to be able to slow down this Patriots passing attack consistently tomorrow. My favorite bet in this game is the Patriots team total over 25.5 in that one. Chargers at the Titans. The Chargers are a 9.5 point favorite with the over under at 43.5. I've harped on this Saints roster all year about having one of the worst rosters ever, but this current Titans roster is not too far behind. They already weren't very talented, but they're going to be without their number one wide receiver and basically their only wide receiver in Calvin Ridley in this one. Jeffrey Simmons, who's their best defensive player and probably their best player overall in the entire roster, is also going to be out in this one. And Arden Key is also going to be out. And the secondary for the Titans has been brutal this year. There's going to be no pass rush. Justin Herbert's going to be able to sit back in the pocket, scan the field, and find open guys all day. I don't know how this line is under 9.5. Somehow, under 10. Somehow the Titans get money every week, and the line doesn't get as inflated as it should be. So under 10 here, I'll gladly take the Chargers. Give me the Chargers minus the 9.5 against the Titans. Next up is the Bears at the Bengals. The Bears are a 2.5 point favorite with the over under at 51.5. If you made me pick a side in this game, I would say the Bears, mainly because Joe Flacco is listed as questionable for this game. But not only is he dealing with something, it's an injury to his throwing shoulder. And his Bengals defense is horrendous. And if Flacco can't go or is even limited as a passer, there's just no way I could back the Bengals with any confidence there. So it'll be the Bears for nothing in this, but I don't see this one actually making my final card. Next up is the Colts at the Steelers. The Colts are a 3.5 point favorite with the over under at 50.5. The Colts offense is off to an historic start this season when it comes to efficiency. Whatever metric you look at, they're among the top of it. This Steelers defense is going to be the Steelers defense is not going to be the one to slow them down. The secondary has been brutal for the Steelers this season. They can't play man coverage. And then, honestly, even with TJ Watt on the edge, they have not been able to generate a pass rush at all this year. And on the other side, the Steelers offense has been very good in their own right. Aaron Rodgers is playing pretty good football, and I have no concerns about the offensive side of the ball for the Steelers. And this Colts defense, like the last couple of weeks, will still be dealing with some injuries. And they've also had some tackling issues in space, which the Steelers, I believe, have the wide receivers who can take advantage of that. So I think both offenses should be able to score in this one. I like the over 50.5, and I also like the Colts team total over 26.5. Those are my two bets in this one. 49ers at the Giants. The 49ers are a 2.5 point favorite with the over under at 47.5. This 49ers defense is decimated with injuries and has been, especially up front, for weeks now. And now with no Cam Scatterbo, I still think there's a path to success for this Giants offense. On the other side, the Giants secondary just got lit up last week by Jalen Hurts and this Eagles passing attack with no A.J. Brown out there, but they were also missing damn near their entire starting secondary. And looking at the injury report towards the end of this week, it looks like that could be the case again, missing multiple starters in the secondary. So if you made me make a play in this game, it would be the over 47.5, but I don't think I'm going to end up actually playing anything official in this one. Broncos at the Texans. The Texans are a 1.5 point favorite with the over under at 40.5. It has been I've been very critical of the Texans offense so far this season. CJ Stroud looks terrible compared to what he did last year, but this Broncos defense without Patrick Surtain cannot be understated. He takes away half the field and makes life way easier on the rest of that Broncos defense. And the Texans are expected to get back Nico Collins and Christian Kirk in this game. While I've been critical of the Texans offense, his defense, on the other hand, has been another story. They've been spectacular so far this season. They're very good. The pass rush is going to be able to get after Bo Nix. And I don't think the Broncos offense is going to be able to do much in this game, especially through the air. I actually like the Texans in this spot. Give me the Texans -1.5 against the Broncos. Vikings at the Lions. The Lions are a 9.5 point favorite with the over under at 48.5. Look, I really wanted to bet the Vikings in this spot, but I just can't do it. I think this number is a little too high. I do show value on the Vikings, but to be completely honest, I don't trust JJ McCarthy, especially his first game back off of that ankle injury. I actually think McCarthy kind of stinks. I don't think he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. So I really don't want to get back him here after weeks off and coming in against his Lions team. So even though the numbers say to back the Vikings at this spot, I can't do it. So no play for me here in the Vikings Lions. Panthers at the Packers. Sorry, the Packers are a 13.5 point favorite with the over under at 44.5. Look, we backed the Panthers last week at a huge number. And it was a loser basically from kickoff against the Bills. So I'm not going to go back to the well, even though, again, the numbers tell me that that's the side I should be on. I don't trust the Packers laying this many points either. So this is just going to be a stone cold stay away from me. Jaguars at the Raiders. The Jaguars are a 2.5 point favorite with the over under at 43.5. This Jags roster has been so up and down this year. I really can't confidently say the type of performance I'd expect from them game to game. And for the Raiders, they've been really bad. But this week they are getting Brock Bowers back. But there's two questions you got to ask yourself. One, how healthy is Bowers? Is he going to be a full go, 100%, like the star-studded tight end that he was last year? Or is he just going to be a guy out there more used as a decoy who isn't really his full self? And then also, if he is, how much does he really help this Raiders offense that lacks talent around him? Is he going to be able to do enough to open up the players around him? Personally, I would rather find those answers out on the sidelines, not having any money on this game. I'd rather watch how Bowers looks in this one before I really dive in and put money on a Raiders game. So this is just going to be a stay away and watch for me here in the Raiders Jaguars. Saints at the Rams. The Rams are a 14.5 point favorite with the over under at 43.5. This number is just way too big for me to feel comfortable laying here. Yes, the Rams are very good. Yes, the Saints are really bad. But the Saints are starting Tyler Shuck in his first career start. New QB, that's just a complete unknown. I think he's going to bring a downfield passing element that they've been missing with Spencer Rattler here. There's plenty of value on the board the rest of this week where I don't really feel the need to have a play in this one here. So just Tyler Shuck getting his first career start is too much unknown. I'd rather just see what he looks like here. It would be probably the Rams or nothing, but I just don't like laying that many points in the NFL, especially with an unproven commodity at quarterback on the other side. Now, basically, the game of the week this week is the Chiefs at the Bills. The Chiefs are a 1.5 point favorite with the over under at 52.5. Look, this Bills defense has not been very good this season, mainly due to the injuries. And now Ed Oliver is heading to the IR, and that's a massive blow for the interior of that Bills defense. This Bills defense can rush the passer, though, but the Chiefs offense stylistically is set up to counteract a really good pass rush. They have Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice now back, who Mahomes can get the ball out of his hands quickly with short passes, and they can make plays after the catch. The Chiefs also can limit what the Bills are going to be able to do on the ground. And, of course, Josh Allen could be a superhero. I mean, we've seen him done it in the past, but he hasn't really been that this year. And I think a big part of that is he doesn't really have a go-to weapon outside that he can turn to in crunch time or when the pressure's on. And I think that's really hindering his performance so far this year. I like the Chiefs in this one to get the win. Give me the Chiefs -1.5. Now moving on to Sunday Night Football, the Seahawks at the Commanders. The Seahawks are a 2.5 point favorite with the over-under at 48.5. The Commanders went to the NFC Championship game last year, but if we're being completely honest about them this season, they're not a good football team. I think the Seahawks are continuing to be undervalued in the market. Seattle has a defensive front that really gets after the quarterback and limits running games, and I like Jaden Daniels, but he just missed Monday Night Football with a hamstring injury. Now, how healthy is he going to be just here 6 days later? And I think there's a very good chance he's not going to be 100%. And if he's not 100% and can't really use his legs, how gotten used to seeing him using legs, that's going to really hold his Commanders offense back. They're also going to be without Terry McLaurin again. He came back in for 3 quarters on Monday and then re-injured a leg injury as well. So he's going to miss this one again. And I actually think Seattle is going to be able to put it on the Commanders here because their defense is also really bad. And like I said, a less than 100% Jaden Daniels against the Seattle front is not something that I think is going to be a recipe for success. So give me Seattle -2.5. Now, Monday Night Football is going to be the Cardinals at the Cowboys. The Cowboys are a 3.5-point favorite with the over-under at 53.5. Look, it's a weekly thing, but if it's not broke, don't fix it. It's a Cowboys game, so I'm betting the over. The offense should have its way with this Cardinals defense for the Cowboys. And Jacoby Brissett's going to be starting at quarterback in place of Kyler Murray for the Cardinals, but that doesn't faze me one bit. I mean, he's a veteran quarterback. He can sling it, has looked pretty good in his playing time earlier this season. And every quarterback that plays the Cowboys this year looks like 2007 Tom Brady. So I really think Cowboys games need to start being totaled into the high 50s, if not the 60s. And we're not there. So give me the over here, over 53.5 on Monday Night Football. Now, the red hot locks for the NFL. We're going to get to college right after this and the parlay of the day at the end as well. So the red hot locks, if you missed any of it, you can go back and recap of my analysis of the game. But just if you want to run down of the bets, here they are. The Patriots team total over 25.5 for a half unit. Chargers -9.5 for 1 unit. Colts team total over 26.5 for a half unit. Colts Steelers over 50.5 for a half unit. Texans -1.5 for a half unit. Chiefs -1.5 for a full unit. Seahawks -2.5 for a unit and a half, 1.5 units. And the Cowboys Cardinals over 53.5 for a half unit on Monday Night Football. They're scrolling across the bottom too if you missed anything as well. Like I said, the show is always available on YouTube. You can go back and watch. Now, moving on to college football. I have 3 plays today in college football. First one is going to kick off at noon, and it's going to be Texas Vanderbilt under 47.5 for a half unit. Now, this can be a scary bet, especially in the Texas game playing an under, but I think this matchup is set up to be a really low-scoring game. Vanderbilt wants to run the ball. Especially with Diago Pavia on man and counter designs. This Texas D-line is very good against the run, and they're at their best against man and counter designs. I believe they're going to be able to focus on Diego Pavia, take his legs away in this game, basically take him out of the game as a runner. And on the other side, I think Texas has the advantage against his Vanderbilt secondary, but Arch hasn't shown the ability to be consistent enough as a passer against any defense with the pulse. And he also suffered an injury last week, so it's unclear how healthy he is. They said he's going to get the start, but it's unclear how healthy he is. And if he's not able to run with the effectiveness or speed that he's done so far this year, then that's really going to hinder this Texas offense. And because that's really been his top commodity is his ability to run. I think this one's going to be a drag out defensive battle here. With 2 defenses. Like I said, the Texas offense, I think, is going to be limited with Arch dealing with that injury. And then Texas's D-line matches up very well with what Vanderbilt wants to do with Pavia. So give me the under 47.5 for a half unit in Vanderbilt, Texas. Now, the next one up is an afternoon game. It's going to be the Mississippi State Arkansas over 65.5 for a half unit. Arkansas is kind of like the Cowboys of college football. They have an explosive offense that puts up points in a hurry, but they're going to give those points right back. And I have no doubts that Taylor Green and this offense can put up points on the Mississippi State defense. And on the other side, this Arkansas defense is pretty bad. Just as I mentioned, this Mississippi State offense can be explosive, and I think they're going to be able to put up points as well. I'm expecting this one to be a shootout in this one, even though the total is extremely high. Give me the over 65.5 in Mississippi State, Arkansas. And then the final college football play of the day is I don't want the points. Give me the Oklahoma money line versus Tennessee for a full unit, plus 115 on those odds. This Tennessee passing attack is predicated on hitch routes and underneath passing. The Oklahoma defense is number 1 in the country at defending hitch routes, and they lead the country in passes contested on hitch routes as well. The Oklahoma defense overall is one of the best in the country. Look up metrics. They're in the top 3 in damn near every category. But the one caveat is they have started missing tackles recently. and that was blatant last week in that Ole Miss game. However, Tennessee is 82nd in the country at forcing missed or broken tackles, so I'm not too concerned with that in this game. And then offensively, I was encouraged by Mateer last week. He looked pretty good. It looked like his old self. Like, it looked like he overcame that hand injury. And this Tennessee defense has not been great. I think Mateer is going to be able to do enough. Oklahoma's going to slow down this Tennessee passing attack, and Oklahoma's going to get a win today. Give me Oklahoma for a full unit plus 115 on the money line to win outright against Tennessee. So the college football red hot locks are Texas Vanderbilt under 47.5 for a half unit, Mississippi State Arkansas over 65.5 for a half unit, and then Oklahoma on the money line against Tennessee to get the upset for a full unit plus 115. Now for the NFL parlay of the day, as always, three legs, one unit. This week it's going to be plus 85, and it's going to be the Chargers minus 9.5, the Chiefs minus 1.5, and then the Seattle Seahawks Sunday Night Football minus the 2.5. Again, that's one unit. We'll pay plus 85. If you want my thought process on why those are my bets for this one, like I said, I mentioned it earlier in the show. You can always go back and listen on YouTube. The show is available around the clock. That being said, that's all I have for today. As always, best of luck. Please bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you next week.